Welcome everybody to a special edition of Dispatch Radio. This episode is brought to you by La Sportiva. La Sportiva is a family-owned company with roots in the small mountain village in the northern Dolomites of Italy, making the best quality outdoor products from climbing the world's highest peaks to running your local trails. La Sportiva has the gear that will help you climb your mountain. Today, we will take you on a trail behind the scenes.
Any tips on how to do good on a podcast?
Don't joke.
Don't joke. No, we like jokes. Definitely jokes.
Don't joke.
Don't joke. Yes.
At Behind the Rocks Ultras in Moab, Utah, one of more than a dozen running events in Utah and Colorado that are put on by Mad Moose Events, sponsored by our friends at La Sportiva. A little later on the show, we will sit down with 2 La Sportiva athletes and 2 employees who took part in the weekend fun. We'll talk to the nomadic family that puts on these events, and we'll even get some tips for getting kids active in the outdoors. Special for you Dispatch Radio listeners, you can get 10% off any Mad Moose event by entering the code DR10 at checkout. Upcoming Mad Moose races include the Pikes Peak Ultra in Colorado Springs on July 28th, which will also host the USA Track and Field 30-kilometer championship. If you're looking for a beautiful 55K or even 105K like me, check out the Crested Butte Ultra in September. Come out for the fun with our Dispatch Radio crew. More at madmooseevents.com.
Backcountry Colorado, hiking, backpacking.
I did a lot of marathons. I was convinced to do some ultras.
Climbing, and I do filming and photography.
I just like the ultras because I love the community. I just think that everybody is so nice, whether they're the first place finishers or, you know, us that kind of mosey along.
First up here, we're going to take you on the trail to the 30-kilometer distance of the Behind the Rocks race that was held in March. It was a beautiful, somewhat windy day with clear blue skies. I lined up to the starting line with about 70 others, ready to take in expansive desert landscapes. After not too long, I came across Paul Clifton, a 42-year-old teacher out of East Denver.
My name's Paul Clifton, and I'm from Denver, Colorado, and I'm 31 years old.
Yeah. And what are we doing out here today?
Yeah, just running a 30K, a trail run.
What do we see around us?
Oh man, it's beautiful. It's like this trail is pretty soft, and I love the bushes, the green bushes, mixed in with the red sand.
Yeah.
And the mountains off to the distance with snow on them. It's like really just diverse.
What brings you out?
Yeah, I got into trail running for about a year and a half now, and I'm just enjoying running, enjoying trail running, trying new experiences.
Next, I came across a family local to Moab running together, Herbert and Charlene Stash and their 12-year-old son Tyler, who was attempting his longest run yet.
We're local here in Moab, and Denise and Justin's are great friends of ours, so we travel up to Colorado a couple of times to run their races and help them out, you know.
So when we talk about the running community and how it takes a village and you get all this support and all these killer volunteers come out and make it really fun, you're the people.
All right, yep, that's it. Yep, volunteers are, you know, a godsend on these races, so we gotta give props to them all the time, you know. And for us, is we're Navajo from northern Arizona, and we're trying to bring awareness to diabetes. So that's the reason why, you know, we try to get our kids out here and run. And, you know, this is a great way to do it. Be outside, you know, enjoy nature and try to be healthy, so.
It was our big brother. He looked at running, he said he wanted to do it. So he tried it out. Then our dad got into it, our mom, and I got into it.
we're hitting the hill here.
Yeah.
How you feeling so far?
Pretty good, I guess.
Think you're gonna finish this thing?
Yeah.
All right.
A little further down the dirt trail, holding a cell phone up to capture photos of the mountain landscapes in front of us, was MK Kasunik, a 24-year-old from Denver.
I just caught you taking some photos. What are you taking photos of?
Selfieing with the mountains, the LaSalle's. Can you beat it? This is amazing. I love that you're doing this.
Tell me about the hat on your head.
So Trail Sisters just started a team, and I'm a part of their spring team. It's the first year they're doing it. It's really exciting. It's just a group of women coming together, supporting each other, running trails. It's inclusive. They're out here for everybody. Everybody can do it, but more women need to feel like they can. So
Justin and Quinn over at La Sportiva convinced me I had to come out and check out the Behind the Rocks Ultras. What makes it so cool?
I'm finding that out right now. I mean, this view definitely can't beat it, but I'd say the race energy, everybody out here is so friendly, and there's just such a community in trail running.
Well, what I love is you're doing an interview right now and you're technically racing.
I am technically racing. That is true. I love it.
Now, at some point during most any ultra running event I have found, I come across at least one powerful story of human redemption and resilience. That moment happened right around mile 5 of this 18-mile journey as I approached Todd Wiggins from Atlanta.
Todd Wiggins from Atlanta, Georgia.
What are you doing out here?
I'm a backpacking guide in the Grand Canyon.
Nice.
So our season's going to start in a couple of weeks. So this is a warm-up.
Excellent. What do you think so far?
Oh, that's awesome. Gorgeous course. Just got to keep looking up.
What are we looking at?
Oh, the LaSalle Mountains over there. Look like they got a snowstorm last night because the top's all white. So it's beautiful.
And tell me about the trail we're experiencing.
Let's see. Mostly been on roads so far. Not too dusty since it rained a couple of days ago. Kind of rolling hills. Guess what I was doing a year ago?
What's that?
Chemotherapy.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
And I had colon cancer, stage 3.
Wow.
And, surgery last December, 6 months of chemo, and then this is my grand return.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Oh, man, so the scare of your life, huh?
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
Well, you know, you freak out and then you just deal with it. And actually, I tried to run during therapy when I could, and I think it helped me a lot.
How so?
It just kept me from getting torn down too much between treatments. But all that's in the rearview mirror now.
Torn down mentally?
Physically,
Physically.
which leads to, mental and emotional. But
What is it about ultra running and like coming through hard things?
well, yeah, I could do hard things before, so I just wanted to make sure I got back to where I was, or even better. So, set some goals like this, and it's fun and beautiful and nice people. So,
Nice,
why not?
After miles and miles and miles of more running, and a few aid station stops in between,
buddy.
You having fun?
I am. It's beautiful out here.
Awesome.
Oh,
What can we get you?
I should probably eat some food.
I caught back up with MK from Denver.
Hey, good job.
Hey, yeah, you too.
How about a quick update?
Okay, starting to cramp out,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
still
getting
feeling good. Now we're staring at the mountains, so at least something's beckoning us in.
How far are we?
I think we've got a little over 4.1 to go.
Oh, where do we got this thing crushed?
Yeah, we totally got it.
Crossing the finish line, completely spent, but also happy and excited for beer, I caught up with Paul Clifton, who was all smiles and in search of beer himself.
How'd it go?
It was great.
You're smiling just like you were 3 hours or 4 hours ago.
I don't know, man. I can't help but smile, man. It's fun.
Yeah.
Super fun out here.
My legs are tight as hell. I'm in pain. I don't know about you.
I'm feeling it too, man, but I think that's part of the experience.
Yeah.
That's why you do it.
Okay, so what happens after an ultra run?
Oh man, you eat a lot of food and drink a lot of beer.
12-year-old Tyler made it to the finish line and then waited on his dad to finish.
And how did it go, Tyler?
Tiring.
Was it harder than you thought it was going to be?
Yeah,
By how much?
a lot.
By a lot. And do we see Dad coming?
Yes.
There's Dad.
Dad did the pottery awards over here too for the Ricks.
Oh, get out of here. Cool. Hey there.
Hey, man.
Congratulations. How you feeling, brother?
Feel all right, I guess.
Yeah. You got your whole
Good.
family here. Well, you know, you did get beat by your how old son?
My 12-year-old son here.
Your 12-year-old son.
Yeah.
How does that feel?
I feel pretty good. I'm considered I'm a dad, so that's what you want for your kids, right?
Meanwhile, Todd Wiggins embraced his partner at the finish.
How are you feeling your post-race?
Ouch. But I'm good. Really good, yeah. Yeah, it was a tough race, my first ultra.
And you just had one of the signature enchiladas, I see.
I did.
So you said you came out here and wanted to see if you could still do hard things post-cancer, and the answer?
I guess I can. I've always liked to do, crazy stuff like this, so yeah. This is me getting back to it.
And Tom, how are you roped in all this?
Tom Richmond. I'm Todd's partner and his bodyguard and his right-hand man. This is the longest distance I've ever run, so that was definitely a personal record, I guess you could say. And training for it was the best part. Having a goal to work towards, and this is a great way to finish it off. Great scenery, fun event.
We also caught up with women's winner Courtney Dauwalter out of Golden, Colorado, who turns out to be a frequent visitor of Mad Moose events.
All right, well, we are here reporting live behind the rocks, and I'm sitting with
Courtney Dauwalter.
Courtney Dauwalter. What just happened today?
Ran the Behind the Rocks 50 mile.
And you were the number one female, which everybody knew was going to happen.
Gracie was here doing her first 50 mile and she killed it.
Well, the only question really was, is she going to beat the number one guy? And how close did you get?
I don't know, but
She played. What do we got? 3 minutes. 3 minutes. You came within 3 minutes of if you didn't get informed already. We were talking a little bit about the Behind the Rocks. The Justin Ricks and his wife put on this and put on a lot of different races. And this is one of the races that you just put in your fun bucket that you want to come out and do. It's not necessarily a strategic race. They're going to get you a ticket into some big other competition. So tell me about it.
Oh my gosh, well, Mad Moose, so Justin Ricks and Denise, are amazing. They put on great races. And anytime we have an excuse to come to the Moab area, we're gonna take it. So when we saw that Mad Moose was putting on this event and it was a free weekend that we had, we were like, we're there. And then we also then sent out our invitations and texts to friends and family from all around, like, we're going to Moab this weekend.
And apparently, folks, when Courtney puts out a text to friends, people do show up, because we were having a good time with the La Sportiva folks, checking out your 12-person deep posse over there.
Well, it's so fun. I mean, they've all embraced ultra running, and I mean, we had 5 people do the 50K today. And now we're drinking beers and sitting around, hanging out here at the finish line, so it's perfect.
What is it about Moab running for those front rangers that haven't made it out so far? Paint a picture.
Oh, it's perfect. So it's a perfect escape in the winter, or edge winter, or in March. But it's a perfect escape to come run beautiful trails, get in amazing views, and enjoy the desert. Yeah, it's very unique. This morning we were in mile 2 of the 50-mile race, and the sun was rising over the La Salles, which was beautiful. So it's really cool.
Those LaSalles are spectacular, aren't they?
Oh my gosh, they're amazing. Especially with some snow on them right now, they're super cool.
So for those that aren't familiar, Courtney, your 50 miles is a short run for you. You're more of a 200 miler.
50 miles is too short and too fast.
You were complaining after the race, but you also, I find it fascinating. You have no idea how fast you were running. If I were to ask you how many minute miles you were doing, you have no idea. You just go out there and
You just roll with what you got at that moment and take in the sights. Enjoy it.
And when you're Courtney, apparently you just end up with a, incredible time. Well, thanks so much for hanging out with us.
Thank you.
Next on the show, we sit down post-race with 4 people who personify the La Sportiva brand. Christopher Patino, he's a shipping specialist who ran the 50-mile course. Hailey Moore, a content coordinator for La Sportiva who run the 30K course. Joe Mills on the climbing team, who also ran the 30K course. And Andrew Fast on the running team, who crewed somebody on the 50-mile course.
Dispatch Radio, reporting live from behind the rocks with full name?
Joe Mills.
Joe Mills. What are you about to do?
I'm about to open a upslope craft lager.
Let's do it. Oh, yes. So let's go around the table here and use first and last names. Tell me how old you are and tell me how you're affiliated with La Sportiva. So just spend just a second telling me about yourself.
My name's Hailey Moore. I'm 26 and I work in La Sportiva's marketing department.
You are rocked out in La Sportiva from head to toe.
Yeah, they sponsor me to work 40 hours a week.
Nice, excellent. And what did you do today?
I did the 30K.
You did it. So you were out there with me at the 30K, all right? And next to you?
My name's Andrew Fast. I ran but did not race today.
Andrew Fast, the man with the appropriate name for being on the running team.
I'm on the running team.
Yeah. All right. And so you did. I saw you running, kind of back and forth. You were doing some pacing with who?
I was with Nico and just cheering people on. I kind of just came out to cheer folks on the final stretch. So yeah, it was good.
And if you want to identify Andrew, all I had to say was the handsome man I saw running, and people were like, oh, Andrew. You mean Andrew?
With the cool hat.
With the cool hat. Yeah, the handsome man with the cool hat would about sum it up. Would you agree?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
We're on
really
the record.
Cool hat.
We're on the record. All right. And next to you,
I'm Christopher Patino, 28. I ran my first 50 miler, and I work in La Sportiva's warehouse.
First one.
First 50 mile. Congratulations.
Nice. Good job, man.
That's big. Yeah. You need a beer. How are you feeling?
I'm in a lot of pain right now. I feel like I can't move, but overall, not too bad.
And sitting next to you, we've got Joe. Your full name?
Joe Mills, and I'm affiliated with Sportiva through the climbing team, and I'm out here pretending to be a runner.
So you are the oddball out here. You don't really have any business on a running race.
I think I have all the business.
What we want to do today is kind of get into a little bit on ultra running and working with La Sportiva, because I imagine when you go to a bar and you say, "Oh, I work for La Sportiva," you get some cool points with that, especially when you live in Boulder, right?
Yeah, I would definitely say so. I don't know. I feel like running today, I felt like a little bit of a faker because I'm head to toe La Sportiva, but I'm really not a super serious runner. So it's a little bit misleading sometimes, but of course when you introduce yourself as working for a company like La Sportiva, everybody's immediate reaction is, oh, that's awesome. And just kind of like,
And, is it?
Yeah, no, it's a great place to work. I really enjoy it.
And you're also back of the house here, because you guys work together on a daily basis, kind of, sort of.
We work in proximity.
They work in proximity. Do you get the same?
Yeah, different departments.
The same reaction around Boulder when you tell people what you do for a living?
I get about the same reaction. I would say sometimes people are a little envious. So it is. Sometimes it's good advice to just not bring up that you work for Sportiva if you can tell that they're just a gear hound.
You're gonna get the follow-up email with the resume attached. Joe, can you explain kind of the scenery around us? What's the kind of setup here?
It's a bunch of people hanging out, drinking beers, waiting for last finishers coming through, and enjoying the scenery.
And we were talking earlier, you get major bonus points in my book, but I'm a little biased. For being a dad, it's a little harder for us dads to get out there and train, particularly when running isn't our thing. So congrats to you on a finish today.
Thanks. Yeah, it was awesome. I found my wife, who's really the one that got me into running. She was here to race and threw her back out picking up her one-year-old, so she couldn't race, and I did.
And tell our listeners when this happened.
Yesterday morning, putting her in the car.
Oh, God.
Literally loading the kid to go to the race, Mommy throws her back out, and Joe to the rescue takes up the bib and runs.
Well, I mean, we were going to run it together.
Oh,
but
gotcha.
Yeah,
Okay.
She was here to race. I was here to jog.
Now you can say that you ran it for her. Right?
Yeah.
Andrew, give us a little bit on your background.
My background's in the mountains, really, kind of human-powered stuff in the mountains. So running for sure, and also biking, a little bit of climbing, but then switch focus mainly to mountain running. Probably 7 or 8 years ago.
And where do you live?
I'm in Salt Lake right now.
In Salt Lake right now, so you move around a lot.
I had been. Yeah, I was in Mammoth Lakes before that for a little while. Chasing altitude. I like to live at altitude. I think it helps for training and just...
So the question you must get a lot in the bar is, how do you pull that off? Do you have a like a 9 to 5?
I'm not. Yeah, so I'm a physical therapist. I'm a doctor in physical therapy, so I fix people that are broken, which complements running and playing in the mountains really well. Like Salt Lake's got a lot of crushers for skiing and for running and for all that. So it's a good quality of life, but it's definitely 40 hours of manual labor plus training.
One thing we do want to talk about is the Mad Moose series. I understand you two, Hailey and Chris, have done some of the other races.
This is actually my first Mad Moose event.
Okay.
But Christopher has done 2 of the prior races.
Which ones?
I did the Arches Ultra 50K, but that was one I had to drop out of at about a marathon's length because I ran 5 miles the wrong way. And then I ran the Dead Horse Ultra 30K. That was back in November. The old Arches Ultra was in January. They're really good races. It's a long drive from Boulder, but for the quality of running out here and how nice all the runners are and how well it's organized, I'll make the trip every year for these.
Haley?
Yeah, I'll be back.
Yeah. Joe?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you were saying earlier this may become the go-to for the family, the yearly family trip, right?
Yeah, I think so. We'd come out and do a race in the spring in Moab every year, or winter, spring, and first race of the season. And the hang at this one is so good that I think we'll probably be doing this every year. It's awesome.
Well, guys, obviously there's a nice mix around the tent here. We got big wall climber, boulderer, and Hailey. Christopher is now a runner, apparently. Andrew's a very fast runner with an appropriate name. All of you work in some capacity with a brand like La Sportiva. That's pretty cool.
At its core, La Sportiva is a brand that just wants to get people outside, but specifically get people into the mountains. So that's where all of those things that we do take place.
Like however you want to do it, you can do it.
Exactly, yeah. We're actually celebrating our 90th anniversary this year.
Cheers to that.
Cheers to that,
Congrats.
right? Just given the location, the first thing they started doing was making mountain boots because they were in the Dolomites. So.
All right, guys. Well, La Sportiva, thanks for having us. Anybody have any closing thoughts? What's on the agenda? Well, we've run our race. We've, gotten our victory medal. What happens now?
We're just going to chill the rest of the night and then looking forward to a big breakfast at Giliberto's in Moab tomorrow morning.
And lastly, everybody, we sit down with the family behind Mad Moose Events. They started this enterprise several years ago and have grown it into a large series of 15 races throughout Colorado and Utah, all known for similar scenery, camaraderie, and fun. They tell us how they do it and about the year they spent together on the road as a family. This is Justin Ricks and his wife Denise, and their children Malachi, who is 16, and Kyla, who's 15. Thankfully, La Sportiva came in and allowed us to get out here and cover the race, so I got to run. So thank you all for helping to make that happen. First impressions, it delivered. I mean, the views, the scenery, the family vibe, the community. People talked about the community, that the part, this would be the place to have the after party.
the ease of just, showing up and camping right at the start and finish line, and that it would be a well-directed race. I tried to find a piece of garbage the entire race. I thought I found one, but it was just a rock. So, everything's just been phenomenally clean, I would say, as well. So, well done. How do you do it?
First off, it starts with the course. We want a challenging and spectacular course, something that we would be willing to run ourselves. We don't want to host or do anything that we think is, in a lower quality course. So it starts with that first, and then, just the organization and trying to do our very best to make sure that all the pieces are together and that the runner's experience is seamless from the start when they register all the way through till they show up at the finish line. So.
Now, you guys are kind of a crazy family. That's why we wanted to get the whole family around, because tell us, what did you guys do for the last year?
We traveled around in our camper, and we went to lots of different places, and my brother and I slept in tents.
For an entire year. And Malachi, that sounds like a pretty cool experience for a kid.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, and I'm missing it now.
I'd say this was the second time that we did a long extended road trip. The first time was 5 months, and that was right after Justin got out of a corporate job, so it was kind of our idea together to take the kids on an experience. The second time around, we wanted to try and give Mad Moose a go and see if it was something we could do together, and so we moved into the camper and traveled the country as a way to try to work on the company and see if we could do it without me teaching. We've seen great success, and we're really happy to be working together and to be spending more time as a family.
Justin, you're making it happen.
Yeah, we're definitely trying hard. We may have taken on a little too much, but we're always up for a good challenge.
Well, speaking of taking on too much, you were taking me through the list. I couldn't keep it all straight. Run through all of the races that this family puts on.
Well, we host 15 total. We have 7 here in Moab. We have 8 in Colorado. Of those 8 Colorado events, 2 are in the Gunnison Valley, and then we've got 6 along the southern Front Range, Colorado Springs, Pueblo area. This was our first event. So Mad Moose events, this was 4 years ago. This was our very first race. So
I usually panicked every time Justin told me we were adding one to the schedule, but this one definitely taught us what we need to know about race directing and how to put on a good event, and it just set us up for the rest of our events.
Yeah, we have Pikes Peak Ultras coming up in July, end of July 28th. And at that event, we're actually hosting the national championship, the USATF 30K Trail Championship. So it's the second time that we've done that. We did that in 2016. But then after that, we've got our Crescent Butte Ultra. It's a new event this year, but the 105K course may be the best course that we have of all the events that we currently are directing. And then we also have Dead Horse Ultra coming up in November. Those are really our big trail and ultra events that we have coming up on the schedule that have this kind of vibe. We have this vibe at all of our races, but really the trail runners and the ultra runners and the community is what makes the feel so much fun at the race. Just being together and tackling a big challenge as one group. So
I wonder if kids think like, that seems strange. That family runs together. How do they do that? Do you have any tips for kids that might be listening and think, that sounds kind of cool? How do I get my family out running?
Well, I started kind of young, and I was never really forced into it. My parents always said, like, I'm going for a run, like, you should join me. And I guess they should just start by saying, I'm going for a run, and you should come with me.
Yeah, so is that a good start there, Justin?
Yeah, for sure. We just encouraged the kids to do something that was healthy. We definitely did not encourage them to compete, especially at a very young age. We wanted them just to climb 14ers and have fun on the trail and go see, when we're on the road trip, go to the national parks and see all the cool stuff that they have to offer. And I'm just kind of getting out together as a family.
All right, I want you guys to take 30 seconds. I'm going to ask you all to answer the same question. I want to hear your favorite memory from the year on the road as a family, okay?
I would say that my favorite memory is leading up to Behind the Rocks Ultra last year. It was really warm, and we took our kids and our nephews up to Mill Creek here in Moab to do some hiking and some playing in the water, and I think it was just fun for me because it's not just our kids now that are going out. You know, our nephews are joining us now. They're 3 and 5, and so just to get the whole family out together and enjoy some time on the trail for me was a great memory.
Can you beat that?
My favorite memory was from the first road trip, and it was just the most memorable because we were staying in this tent, and it was kind of in this remote place. I don't remember exactly where, but we just kind of heard like this call, and we came outside, and my mom's like, look down there, and there was a mountain lion.
Nice, mountain lion. Big bro, what do you think about that? Can you top that?
Mine favorite was also here in Moab when we went out to the Souls of Snake, and I thought it was super special to experience something that not a lot of people get to experience because of the way it's far out there and it's kind of hidden from the world.
Justin, did you already give us one?
I would say our time in Pinedale in Wyoming. We really had a great time in Pinedale. We camped right on the reservoir, or the lake. It was actually a glacier lake, and we would go out and swim in the lake every night, and we did some fishing and did a whole bunch of running in the wilderness area. So Pinedale, just in general, was probably my favorite part.
All right, guys. Well, if we've got people interested in these races, where do they go to find out info? You want to take this one?
The Mad Moose Events website.
Which is?
MadMooseEvents.com.
MadMooseEvents.com. Good job, family. Thanks for hanging out in the tent.
Thanks for tuning in, and thanks to La Sportiva for supporting our programming, and to Mad Moose Events for having us out to Behind the Rocks. Remember, Dispatch Radio listeners, enter DR10, DR10 at checkout for a 10% discount on any Mad Moose event at madmooseevents.com.